Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hello, my name is Wesley LeBlanc and I am a senior associate editor at Game Informer. That's a big fancy title. That means I look at a lot of words and edit them to make them sound a little better, and I also write a lot of words, and my coworkers edit them to make them sound better, and all of those words get put into this beautiful magazine that we release 10 times a year, and you can subscribe to it. Yes, we shut down last year, but we're back. We have a new owner. Things are better than ever. Our magazine is more premium, more beautiful, more pages than ever. I'm biased, obviously, but I truly think Game Informer is in its best era yet, and the best is yet to come. We have some really cool stuff in the pipeline. We also have a kick-ass website where I do a lot of news and reviews and previews, where all of us do a lot of news and reviews and previews. Yeah, that's kind of what I do at Game Informer. I'm a senior associate editor, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to do a side quest on Pokémon Emerald, my all-time favorite Pokemon game. Maybe that's blasphemous. I don't know. I mean, there are some really good Pokemon games, but there's just something so special about Emerald. I remember, it came out May 1st, 2005 in North America. My family isn't like big on Easter or anything like that, but it was an excuse for my parents to give us Easter baskets because we were kids and we loved that. I was 10 years old at the time. Obviously, I loved Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Ruby was my go-to. My best friend had Sapphire. Shout out Groudon. And I walk into the kitchen on Easter Sunday, I guess. Easter's always on a Sunday, right? Yeah. And in my basket was some chocolate, and buried at the bottom was the Pokemon Emerald version box. And I wish I still had it. I can't believe I don't. It sells for hotcakes now. But yeah, I just immediately popped that thing into my Game Boy SP, the Fire Red Game Boy SP. Well, not Pokemon Fire Red, like the ruby-colored Game Boy SP, my all-time favorite handheld console. Honestly, maybe my favorite console ever. That's another side quest for a different day. Even though side quest is about consoles, it's about games. Can you tell I've had too many energy drinks today? Pokemon Emerald is everything I love about Ruby and Sapphire, but better because it has Rayquaza. And as you know, Rayquaza is one of the best legendary Pokemon ever designed. As you should know, if you're a Pokemon fan, it's one of the coolest Pokemon ever. But let me break down my love of Hoenn for a second first. We got to talk about the trumpets. It has one of my favorite scores in Pokemon. It's so different and so unique, and it's such a big step up from Gen 1 and 2 because of hardware limitations, to be honest. Like the Game Boy Advance really allowed Gen 3 to sing. And I think as a band kid, those trumpets really did it for me. You know, I was on drumline, but I was often hearing a lot of these trumpets and these horns that Hoenn Region's composition really like pushed into the score. And I love that so much. It just feels like such a grand, uplifting adventure. And then also, another thing about Pokemon Emerald version is because it's Hoenn, it has some of my favorite starters ever. Shout out Mudkip. I love that dude. And then he just evolves and eventually becomes Swampert, one of the most kick-ass starter Pokemon ever. And though I always pick the water type, except for Gen 8, because I really did not like... I liked Sobble. I did not like his final evolution in Teleon. Blaziken's really cool. And oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the grass type. Something Sevile, something, Gen 3 starter final evolution is... I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Wow. Yeah, Wesley, you're a real big fan of Pokemon Emerald, huh? Here's the thing. I'm going to just keep moving past this because I'm too lazy to look it up and my mind's all over the place. Pokemon Emerald is a special game for many reasons to me. I love Hoenn. I love Rayquaza. I love Skytree. I love the post-game Battle Frontier. But I think the thing I want to kind of hone in on this little side quest is the imagination and the dream that Pokemon Emerald version installed in me. You know, I was 10, I was very impressionable. I was just discovering the internet and forums and stuff. And there's a Pokemon in Emerald called Deoxys, which shout out to the movie starring Deoxys and Rayquaza. I really love that movie. I still have the Deoxys promo card in my collection from that movie. And you couldn't get Deoxys just in the game. It was like a promo event or mystery gift or something that out of my capabilities as a 10-year-old whose parents weren't really tapped into what Pokemon was doing. And let's be honest, Pokemon, you know, all that internet and blah, blah, blah stuff is not made for the 10-year-olds playing Pokemon. It's confusing stuff way back then. A little easier now because mystery gift is just an online connection on consoles and kids grow up knowing about all that kind of stuff. neither here nor there. So I couldn't get Deoxys, and kids on the recess field we talked about Pokemon all the time. That's what we did. We played Pokemon. Like we played Imagination, played pretend Pokemon at school, and then go home and play our actual Pokemon games. And I had a buddy who told me that to get Deoxys, and mind you, he actually had a Deoxys, so I truly believed him, was you need to go to the space station in the Hoenn region on a certain day of the month. I think it was like a random Tuesday or something. And when you go on that certain time, and it has to be at a certain, when you go on that certain date at a certain time of night, and it was very late, so I had to like sneakily play my Game Boy SP under the covers. When you go at that exact time on that exact day, there's a rocket ship that you can take up to space, and then you can challenge Deoxys and ultimately, hopefully, catch them. Would you believe me if I told you it never actually happened for me? I never did catch a Deoxys that way. I would do what he said, and I would go back, and he would just make up some excuse on recess about how I did it wrong, and then I would try again the next month, and it never happened. And I never did get Deoxys that way. In fact, I don't even know if I've ever caught Deoxys in a game. I'm sure I have at some point, but I don't know. Anyway, I love Deoxys, and I just loved, in hindsight, it's so cool that I was maybe gullible, maybe I had this cool imagination, maybe I had friends who were yanking my chain, but I just think it's so cool that a game can inspire that kind of imagination. I truly believe that somehow my Game Boy SP cartridge knew that if I was at this place in-game, like the game would recognize that I was there at the right time, and it would be like, here you go, sir, get on this ship, and we're going to take you up to space so you can catch Deoxys. I just think it's really cool to have games inspire that kind of imagination in kids. And there's other times that Pokemon Emerald specifically did that. I think Chimecho actually does do that in-game. It does have like a kind of special set of parameters that inspire imagination and make you think about like this Pokemon's place in the Hoenn region. It was kind of this mythical thing, even though Chimecho is just kind of a standard Pokemon. But I thought it was really cool how they did that. And I'm sure that Chimecho, that kind of situation is where the whole idea of these like made up ways to catch Deoxys came about. I don't remember the exact specifics, but I also fell for like a way to get Jirachi as well. And sure enough, it was around the same time as Jirachi Wishmaker movie, which I loved. And I was just doing all these crazy things to catch Jirachi. And again, would you believe if I told you that never happened? I kept getting fooled left and right. Anyway, yeah, I think for many reasons, Pokemon Emerald is one of my favorite games, not just because it's a really good Pokemon game set in the Hoenn region, which it is. I love the story. I love the way it remixes the story of Ruby and Sapphire. I love the involvement of Rayquaza and the Sky Tree. I love the legendary birds, Latios and Latios. Speaking of which, little detour, the Pokemon Heroes movie, the 5th Pokemon movie, is about Latios and Latios in this Venice-style city. And Latios would transform into this girl to hide amongst humans and see how they lived, because she kind of wanted to experience the love of a human. Anyway, as a very impressionable, 10-year-old, whenever that movie came out, I used to have a massive crush on Latios as the girl version. But I would just tell people I have a crush on Latios and be like, why are you guys making fun of me? Like, she's cute. Because in the movie she was cute. I do like the Latios design. Also, another detour about Pokemon Heroes. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Shout out Monster Energy drinks. I was at a friend's birthday party once, and there was about 10 or 12 of us in his room watching Pokemon Heroes. For many, it was the first time. I adored that movie. I watched it all the time. I knew like all the lines of the two girls who represent like the Team Rocket type characters in that movie. It's not Team Rocket. It's a different team. It's this duo of girls who are trying to catch Latios and Latios. Anyway, they have this big monologue moment, and I was saying it at the party, like out loud, which is cringe by itself. And at a certain point during it, the guy whose birthday party it was, looked at me and was like, "Hey, can you stop?" in front of everybody, which he's right to do. It was probably pretty annoying that I was doing that, but oh my God, I still think about that moment and cringe. So yeah, that's two more esoteric reasons why Gen 3 and Pokemon Emerald and all the Pokemon surrounding it kind of have left this impact on my life. Some facts for you real quick before I get out of here. Pokemon Emerald launched in North America on May 1st, 2005. It was the second highest selling video game of 2005 in North America. I wish that this article I was looking at said what the number one highest selling game of 2005 in North America was. I'd love to know. I don't know off the top of my head. Also, it's the third best-selling game for the Game Boy Advance behind other Generation 3 games, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. That checks out. If you haven't played Emerald, it is absolutely worth going back to. There are some really cool variants of Emerald out there that I definitely got legally because I owned the ROM, and I'm definitely a coder who knows how to hack and mod these games. Totally, for sure. I'm blanking on the names, but there is like Emerald Kaizen, I think it's called. It's like a really, really challenging ROM hack of Emerald, and there are a ton of other different ROM hacks out there to remix Emerald and play it in a new style. But if you haven't played the original Emerald, I highly, highly recommend it. Gen 3 is just such a really, really good special generation. And maybe it's because I was 10 years old when it came out, but I don't know. I don't know if any generation beats the Hoenn for me. Man, I love it. I need to find a way to play it. I own the cartridge. I just don't have a Game Boy Advance playing device, and I need to get one. Anyway, that is my episode of Side Quest. Shout out Matt for editing and making this show possible. I really, really do enjoy being able to kind of wax on about one of my favorite games. And this has been Side Quests, and as always, happy gaming.
Do you find yourself playing older games and wishing that there were new discussions about those games? Enter Tales from the Backlog. Hi, I'm Dave Jackson, and on each episode, I'm joined by a guest to break down those games that may be stuck in your ever-expanding backlog. Each episode looks at one game in depth, focusing on mechanics, story, music, and other aspects with no spoilers until a clearly marked spoiler wall in the middle. If you've played the game, go ahead and climb that spoiler wall and enjoy in-depth story discussions, and if not, jump out when we warn you and maybe go play that game for yourself. We have over 100 episodes in the feed, everything from Disco Elysium to Tunic to discussion episodes about how to get into horror games, and if games actually need to be fun, or if they have more to offer. I guarantee that there's something in there for everybody. Once again, that's Tales from the Backlog, available wherever your podcasts are found.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.